Welcome to Out of Bounds. In this video, we travel from Nanning in southern China to Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. This is part of an overland series from Hong Kong to Singapore and beyond. I will use practical ground or water transit options where possible, and hopefully share a few informative and fun moments along the way. Please feel free to check out the channel page and subscribe to follow the journey. Between Nanning and Hanoi, there used to be conventional train services to Gia Lam Station of Hanoi. These are namely the Z5, Z6 from and to Beijing Xi Station, and the T8701, T8702 from and to Nanning Station. The timetables for these trains are still displayed on the official China Railways website, but they have in fact not been running since the COVID-19 pandemic. As of the making of this video, conventional passenger trains terminate at the border town of Pingxiang on China side. Passenger service has been suspended on Vietnam side from the border station of Dongdang to Hanoi. There are reports that the Chinese high-speed train network will be extended to Pingxiang in the near future. However, I did not find much update regarding the resumption of passenger rail service on the Dongdang to Hanoi section. In any case, long-distance bus looks to be the more practical overland transit option for the time being. I arrived at Nanning's Langdong bus station a little after 8 o'clock for the bus departing at 8:30. Bus tickets are sold at the ticketing counter at the station, and you can buy direct service to Hanoi on a single ticket. If you need to secure travel on a particular date, you may come to the bus terminal a couple days early and buy the ticket you need. Boarding started around 10 minutes before the posted departure time. As today was a lighter travel day, a 7-seat minivan will be taking us to the border. The ride on China side is about 2 hours long. At 10:15, we made a quick pit stop at Chongzuo service area for about 5 minutes. Along this section of the highway, you can see quite a few karst formations. At 11:19, we arrive at a border pre-check area in Pingxiang. Passengers remain in the car, but will need to present ID or passport to a border officer. The minivan then entered a long tunnel. After we emerge, the car parks next to a border office building. This is not where you actually cross the border though. Instead, we are transferred onto an electric buggy that will take us to the crossing. We were also given lanyards that identified our bus company to help with connections on the other side of the border. If needed, you can get your hands on some Vietnamese dong cash and SIM cards from the vendors here while you wait. The electric buggy zipped up and down some slopes, then dropped us off right in front of the historic Youyi Pass border gate. This area has been an active border crossing between China and Vietnam for centuries, with the current border gate rebuilt in the mid-20th century in the style of the Qing dynasty. The border gate is also the site of many battles, including the 1885 Battle of Zhennan Pass during the Sino-French War. The pass's historical name Zhennan, used since the Ming Dynasty for centuries, was later changed to Munan in 1953 and to Youyi, meaning friendship, in 1965 to reflect the socialist friendship between China and Vietnam. On the Vietnam side, the border crossing is known as Hữu Nghị, also meaning friendship. Even without knowing any of the historical background, one look at the steep and imposing mountains and you're sure to know the critical nature of the pass. Although the Youyi border gate itself was traditionally the exact border demarcation, the 1887 Sino-French Treaty moved the border slightly south. Thus, we need to walk down a slope beyond the historic border gate to the Chinese border office and the actual border. The queue at the Chinese exit was quite long today. It took me around 40 minutes to finally get through. After exiting the Chinese border office, a few steps later, there is an inconspicuous marker on the side of the road. This is the actual physical border between China and Vietnam. Pavements are visibly different on either side. Beyond the line, many Vietnamese flags adorn the roadside. Upon crossing this border, there is a 1-hour time difference. The Vietnamese border office is still a bit further ahead. You'll need to walk around a duty-free shop building, and this section does not have covered walkway. In fact, ever since the electric buggy ride on the Chinese side, many sections of this border crossing are exposed to the elements. The Vietnamese border office felt somewhat less crowded than the Chinese counterpart. Depending on your passport and visa type, you may need to convert to a separate paper visa. Just have a passport-sized photo handy, and the process should be smooth enough. Still remember that lanyard you got from way back? Upon completing Vietnam entry procedures, travel agents will sort travelers based on the lanyard and arrange onward connection. I happen to have a pretty long wait time of more than 1 hour. Luckily, there is plenty of air-conditioned seating in the waiting area, where I ate a quick lunch. At 12:50 local time, our onward bus to Hanoi finally departed. Very shortly after departing, Vietnamese border police would come aboard to check everyone's passport and visa. Here, the road runs parallel to the single-track railroad for a bit. This is the track that conventional trains would have used before the COVID-19 pandemic. It is characteristically dual gauge, compatible with both Vietnam's meter gauge and China's 1435mm standard gauge. The bus made a few stops in northern Vietnam, including 1315 at Lang Son and 1437 at Bac Giang. Shortly after Bac Giang, the bus made a brief rest stop. We crossed the Red River at 1553. Then finally arrived at the Hanoi bus stop at 55 Chan Cat Chan Road. This is right next to the travel office where you can book return bus tickets to China. However, it is pretty inconvenient for everything else, as it is about 2.5 kilometers south of Hanoi city center. It might be a good idea to fire up that ride-hailing app to get into the city. If you enjoyed the video and would like to follow along the journey, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.